What's up, hobby friends, and welcome back to Paint Bravely, the podcast where you can find a little bit of encouragement, discover new ways to make your hobby more fun, and most importantly, learn to paint bravely. All right, Brent's pouring a drink over here. We're going to see what he's been up to hobby-wise in the last few weeks. I know we both have been doing a lot of conventions lately. I just got back from one. Brent's about to leave to go on another one, and I'm sure we've gotten some things done in the interim. But okay. Brent's drinking some kind of delicious blue liquid. And now I need
Blast
to know.
Zero sugar in a can.
So it's a light Romulan ale.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's illegal. Yeah, so tell us, Casey, what have you been up to?
Oh,
give us the news.
All right, we'll jump into. So I just got back from Soonercon, which was pretty cool. Brent went there last year, and I went there this year. So that was pretty neat. I was a featured guest, which was interesting. It's the first time that's ever happened. So I got to sit up on the stage while they did all the introductions, and they're like, "Oh, this is Casey from the eBay Miniature Rescues, and that's Doug Cockle from The Witcher, and that's Atreyu." I can't remember his name right now, from that movie we both haven't seen.
The Never-Ending Story.
Yeah, that one. Yeah, but there were people there. It was pretty cool. I got to teach some painting classes, which is the first time that's ever happened, which was really cool. Met a lot of fun people, got to hang out, talk painting, did some eye-opening things, which was cool. Like, a lot of people that were in the room were like, "Wow, I've never seen that. That's really cool." And that's pretty neat.
All right.
Yeah.
Were you nervous? You nervous being up on stage under the bright lights?
I mean, not really. Like a little bit, because it was, it's a whole production. I don't want to screw it up somehow. And I got there, and even though I was there pretty early, somehow I managed to get a seat that wasn't behind one of the main tables. It was off to the left. So I was just sitting out in the open, in a chair, because they didn't have big enough tables.
Oh, that's so sad.
No, it was fine. I thought it was pretty funny. I mean, I did have to speak in front of a crowd for a minute, but
Hello, my name is Casey, and yeah. I like to paint miniatures.
Pretty much, yeah. That's about how it went. No, it was weird though, because they passed the mic down the line. There's 10 people up there, right? And
yeah.
One person said something, and everyone else was like, "I'm not, no." So it was kind of interesting to see. It's there are these public-facing figures who are way more popular and famous than I will ever be, and they're just hell no, I'm not talking on a microphone.
Wait,
are you kidding me?
You're allowed to pass? You could just say pass?
And they all passed except for one person, and then I was hey.
You're at least supposed to say, "Hey, my name is, and I'm excited to be here. We're gonna have a great weekend together."
A couple people definitely.
How hard is that?
Passed.
How hard is that?
These people are all super introverted and do work at home mostly. I don't know.
Yeah. So yeah, I did this gig last year, and it's a weekend convention, lots of panels and events and classes throughout the weekend, but they do it where they have an opening ceremony and a closing ceremony where they try to get a bunch of people into the biggest room in the hall, and they put the semi-famous people that they've collected on stage. And you're supposed to say, "Hey, my name is Brent. I paint miniatures, and hopefully you'll have a chance to give it a try this weekend." And then you pass the mic to, whoever's sitting next to you.
Yeah, well, I was last.
Okay. And you got to witness people just passing?
Pretty much, yeah. I mean, I think most everybody said "Hey, I'm so and so," and then just immediately passed it. I know at least a couple people just straight handed it off. They're "No." So, yeah.
So you were the anchor.
Yeah. I was like, "Oh, it's my first time here. I'm super excited to see some minis. Let's paint some minis. That's gonna be fun." Something. Yeah, it was good. I mean, it was exciting. There were a good amount of people at the opening, and they did this skit with some kind of little troupe of people who are into theater and acting. So they did. It was like a like fantasy tavern themed this year. So it was very, very recognizable. It felt kind of like a Ren Fair almost. Yeah, which was pretty neat because I think yours was some totally different.
Cyberpunk.
Right? Yeah, that's way out. Yeah. That's way out there. I don't even.
Yeah, we probably got different skits. Yeah,
yeah, I would think so. Because they had a whole like paladin, and I mean they had a whole party of D&D characters, and they were casting spells, and the lights went out, and like people running around, and then, it was pretty neat.
Yeah, I had like a evil CEO, and then like cyberpunk punks, and the lights went out, and somebody took control of the PA system, and I just kind of had to sit on stage and like smile politely.
I mean, there was a lot of that for sure. So maybe it's not that different. That sounds very similar, actually. They just changed out the theme. I don't know, but like they built a whole tavern in one of the big rooms. Like they had walls and tables, and like you could get stuff there, and there was a whole Star Wars land, which was pretty neat. They had like the flags, hanging across, and droids running around.
Was it the 501st, whatever, the Stormtrooper
Legion?
One
of those, yeah.
Yeah, there was like a serious group of Star Wars cosplayer, reenactor types who just took up like a corner of that convention in the best way possible. That was pretty sweet. Yeah, for sure. The vendor hall was decently sized, but honestly, man, there were no miniatures. Yep. I didn't find any. I was a little sad. I was planning on buying some models. There was one of the booth that was kind of like a local game store sort of thing that just brought a selection of stuff from the game store, which is fine, and I wish them the best. But I do have a sort of semi update on frameworks through this convention. Yeah, I know. I was talking to said game store owner and somebody else who also owned a game store that just happened to be there, and they're both like, these frameworks, they were there for sale, and they were just like, man, I'm just trying to get rid of these. So hard. Like, it doesn't matter. I just need to get them out. Like, they do not like them. And other people were chiming in like, those are really bad. Like, they've tried to paint them, and they're just, it was a little sad. There is such an opportunity for somebody to open the eyes of D&D players and show D&D players how to paint miniatures and get them excited about that. And frameworks could have been the chosen one, but they could have. Didn't get there, did they? Yeah. Not quite. I mean, I guess isn't that really like ReaperCon in a nutshell, though? ReaperCon? Like D&D minis and painting and off-brand D&D. Oh, yeah, for sure. Not official, but like they know what they're there for. Yeah, I don't think I'm going to make it out to ReaperCon this year, but yeah, they've got some great minis for D&D adjacent purposes. Yeah, Bard miniatures. Bard Light. Yeah, Bard Light. Oh, man, I did get to cut up a boatload of Reaper models this weekend, though. I just snipping arms and heads and legs off and stuff. Yeah, I did a kit bashing class, and unfortunately, and not because of me, 2 people showed up to the class. There was a big computer issue. Nobody could sign up for classes on the website the first day, which is a light day anyways, right? Because it's still a weekday. But, like, it just wasn't going through. So, like, all the classes across the board, like, people weren't showing up. It was kind of a bummer, and they got it handled later, which was good. But, yeah, I did a kit bashing class, and it was just me and 2 dudes, like, cutting up models and gluing 3D prints to things, and we just made, like, 5 different ridiculous models apiece. It was great. Nice. Yeah. Okay, that is a good class to only have a couple people show up to. Yeah, that's true. Right. Yeah. But we had piles of models, which is pretty great. Ooh, that's rough though. If you got your little printout of the classes that you have this weekend, and here's how many people signed up, and 2 people signed up for a class. Like, oh no, what did I do wrong?
Yeah. Well, I didn't even look. I had no idea how many people were going to show up to any of them. I never looked. I was just like, whatever happens, happens. And luckily, the other 3 that I did were like pretty full. So I was like, okay, this is fine. And the 2 people who actually did show up to that first one, like, they're like, well, I fought through the problems because, you know, I wanted to be here. So they fought through until it just magically worked, you know.
Nice.
Yeah, which was cool.
That's a pretty good weekend.
It was a pretty good weekend. I feel pretty good. Got to hang out with some pretty cool people and paint some minis. Oh, and I completely am blanking on the name, but there was a gentleman that you met last year who gave you something.
Was it
in one
red
of the
sand?
classes. Is that what he gave you?
One man gave me red sand.
Then it must
Another
be.
man gave me a commemorative coin.
That might be.
Somebody gave me a figurine of me. Somebody gave me little leather patches with kobolds lasered into them.
I think that might be the guy.
People give me things. We talk about Nate.
Nate?
Okay, well, this is embarrassing now. Yes, people give me things.
Yeah, no. I mean,
Did you also get a gift?
I did.
Is this where this is going? Hell,
yes.
Yeah, congratulations. What'd you get?
God, dude. No, I don't remember his name right now. But no, like
Well,
he
you set
took a
yourself
class.
up
His
for
wife took
failure
a
on
class,
this one.
and yeah. So they came in. I know I am, but that's fine. No, he gave me an '80s orc pewter belt buckle from Games Workshop.
Yes. I think I got an elven pewter symbol from this man.
Yes. See. Now we're on the same page.
And I apologize. I'm also blanking on the name, but it's been longer.
I mean, for you, it's been much longer. I have no excuse. This was like 3-4 days ago.
No, that's really cool. There's one of the neat things about this hobby is that there have been enough decades worth of collectibles and memorabilia that there are some sweet little treasures out there floating around.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, I didn't even realize that they made things like that.
Yeah.
Somebody else gave me a WizKid, or not WizKids, but it was a D&D model from like the early 90s that he converted and put like friggin' machine guns on, which I thought was hilarious. So yeah, doing something with that at some point. He's like, yeah, I was young. This looks awesome. It's like, still looks awesome. Like, what are you talking about?
Hey, you sure you don't want to keep that?
Yeah. He like brought in this box and he's like, I just want you to pick something out of this. And like, he ended up giving me a couple and they're just super rad. Like this crazy looking robot thing. And then this like D&D model with machine guns. So like, yes.
Nice.
Yeah. But man, it's amazing like how many people are into painting miniatures and like you maybe just don't even realize. I mean, a lot of them, because I was asking people like, well, when and how and why, right? And a lot of people that came in were relatively new or had painted previously, and like, you know, obviously being stuck at home was a big push into getting in or getting back in. And a big part was, well, I have a lot of board games and they all have models. I don't want them to look like crap. So like, yes, okay.
Yep.
Like there's definitely starting to become more of a crossover. It's not purely wargaming, as even from a few years ago. I feel like it's starting to really get there.
That's good news.
Yeah,
that's good news, because the frameworks debacle was so sad. It's so sad.
Yeah. I just thought it was so funny that it's like this is being reinforced by these people who like definitely have stock in this. They bought this stuff and are just like, I need it gone. It's taking up space.
It's like they were decent polystyrene models.
Yeah.
But it's interesting to hear the point of view of like, oh, these are terrible and the paint doesn't stick to them or whatever you were saying. Like that just sounds like ignorance about working with hard plastic polystyrene models.
Yeah.
Because there are like legitimate things to complain about there, but if they're just kind of complaining about generic features of polystyrene, then it's like, okay,
it's not really why people are upset.
But yeah, so I've been prepping for a convention. We have 2 conventions, 2 weekends in a row here. So tomorrow I'm back in time, the past future.
By the time this episode comes out, you will have been there and come back.
Yeah, I'll be in a Philadelphia jail by the time this is released.
It's very possible.
Very possible. But no, I've been spending the last couple of days working on a PowerPoint. So the convention I'm going to kind of gave me 2 slots on stage, basically. Not like a little room for teaching, but like here's a stage and 45 minutes, and the main stage. I'm on the Ruby stage in Hall B, which is the miniatures hall. And I looked at the map. It actually looks like a pretty big room. So this could go a number of different ways. Big room is great. That could mean it's going to be filled with people. But also, if nobody comes, if 2 people come to that event, it's funnier if it's a really big room.
That would be very funny.
It's a lot funnier.
And also, I can at least be like, well, mine was a computer glitch. So, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I made an event called Getting Excited About Painting Minis, and I've been making a PowerPoint. If you give me a stage and no clear instructions, I'm going to make a PowerPoint.
And no clear instructions. They're just like, you know, Brent, you make content. Just do 45 straight minutes to an audience of at least 400 people.
This is within my skill set.
Oh, like yeah. No, I'm not saying it isn't.
It certainly will be content. I'll tell you that much. But
God, I hope you just put a camera in the back of the room. Please.
I'm planning on it.
Or hand it to the most likely person who maybe could handle a camera in the front row.
I'm bringing tripods.
Okay.
Yeah. So this could be content. This could just be like, all right, you haven't seen a YouTube video about a man giving a PowerPoint lecture to 2 people before, have you? Like,
yeah. No, that
that's
just
a good
sounds
title
like,
right there.
Like the like drunk boyfriend leaning over to his girlfriend screaming in his ear. Like, this is polystyrene. It's just not what you think. You're like, oh yeah.
We got a title and a thumbnail. Yeah,
exactly. Like I feel like this could work really well. Like, and you've got the PowerPoint to splice in. You've got like it goes full screen on the live feed. You know, when they do those PowerPoints like that.
Oh, exactly. And I've got the PowerPoint, so just do a little bit of editing. If you need to actually see the picture, boom.
Yeah, you click a button. Yeah,
there's the picture. Yep.
Yeah, exactly.
So, yeah, I have made many PowerPoints in my life, and I have given lectures before, and I have talked a lot about mini painting, but never really all jammed together. So
yeah, that makes sense.
I'll report back in a couple of weeks about how that went.
Yeah, and I'm definitely excited to hear about that. That's gonna be good. Should be good.
Yeah. And then the other block that I'm gonna fill is teaching noobs to paint minis. So bringing, I guess, 3 people up on stage, having them sit at those little convention tables. And my guests are gonna have convention tables, unlike Casey on the main stage. He didn't get a table. He just got a chair.
I got a chair on the end of a table. So I mean, I could have had my arm maybe on the table.
Power move.
But yeah, I didn't. Yeah.
So for 45 minutes, I'm gonna try to teach noobs how to paint minis, and I'll have my camera hooked up to the big screen. I'll be walking around like, how's this person doing? How are you doing? Not too good, is it, Chief?
You have 45 minutes to paint a model. I don't know. That one, I feel like, is a little bit more like up in the air, hit or miss. Like, you're going to have to do something to really engage, stuff.
Yeah. Well, we got 3 people to switch between, And I think I can get the audience involved. Like, hey, what color should the jacket be?
Yeah.
What color are the pants going to be? What do you think? This one or this one? This one or this one? Oh, the crowd is divided 50-50.
I mean,
one
if
person
you've
wants
got a
this,
good
the other
amount of
person wants
people in
the
that
other.
room, then you could easily also make a video, but that 400 people painted this one model.
It's Sunday afternoon at a convention. So
22 people painted this model.
That may not be good content. That
No,
may not be good
maybe
content.
not. Now we're in a weird territory now. Yeah.
Yeah,
Man,
that should be interesting. I have not seen the on-stage mini painting entertainment before, and so I'm gonna do a little bit of trial and error, and I will report back. But
yeah.
this is a new convention for me. It's too many games. It's apparently 20,000 mostly video game people, video game, anime, like general nerddom.
Okay.
But there's going to be a paint and take event there, run by Duncan Rhodes Painting Academy, Two Thin Coats, Transatlantic Games. And so hopefully we can get a bunch of generic nerds to give mini painting a try, and that's always a good thing.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. Are you doing any like painting competition stuff, or are you just there for that?
I don't think so. I'm going to be part of somebody else's panel about indie war games. Somebody, a volunteer who likes to hype up snap ships is leading it. I don't know if you remember that game. It's basically like the toys where you build a custom spaceship. Okay. I got this cockpit and these wings and these stabilizers and the missile pods, and there's kind of like a set of cards that go along with those components.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I've seen this before, yes. I've never done it, but I've definitely seen it.
Yeah. It was the booth at the very end of the vendor hall at Gen Con. Or maybe the very beginning of the vendor hall at Gen Con in 2022. Like booth 0001 or something like that. Yeah.
Nice.
So I definitely walked by that. So not even an employee of the company, but like one of their volunteers, one of the people who just really likes the game is leading a panel about independent game design. So
nice.
That'll be interesting. And also there's somebody from a game called Slapshot Showdown. So this is a hex-based
hockey game?
Fantasy hockey game.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And it's a Kickstarter that's coming up, I think, like early next year might be when the Kickstarter's coming out. But what I've seen of it so far looks cool. I mean, it looks interesting. I like hockey rinks. You see a hockey rink all divided into hexes, and then like some angry looking people on skates with a variety of stylized hockey sticks, and like, okay,
sounds pretty awesome, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So looking forward to giving that a little demo.
Yeah, for sure. Man, sounds like a good time.
But I don't know. That's what I've been up to. Just scheming to try to keep people entertained.
Yeah, I know.
Going
right?
up on stage.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like that's what we're trying to do all the time. So it's just gonna click on. It'll be great. It'll be great.
Yeah. But I mean, if you're listening to Paint Brave the podcast and you get bored, you go, you hit the like button, and then you leave. That's that's what you do if you get bored on Paint Brave the podcast. But if you get bored in a convention hall auditorium
and you leave, it's a little different.
It is funnier. It is funnier.
And I mean,
yeah, that
is funnier. I did have some. Okay, so the last class that I taught was another like intro to miniature painting, like if you've never painted before, right? And a good amount of people showed up to that, but by the end of the 2 hours, there was only one person left because a majority of the people were kids.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And in basically the order of youngest to oldest is how they ended up leaving. Like, the youngest one, I think, in the room was like 7 or 8. And they just painted that model real quick. And they were like,
oh, so they got done. They left because they had completed the assignment.
Literally, yes.
Yeah,
and they're
okay.
like, I'm going to go wander. And their parent was like, that's cool. We'll be here. You know? And just, yeah, in the order of their ages, we're leaving and been like, I'm done painting now. Yeah. A couple of them did pretty good, too. Like, they'd never painted before.
Sweet.
And they were like listening and like going, okay, yeah, like purple and this and okay. You know, they were getting into it. So I thought that was pretty nice. Like, that's, if anything, like the Soonercon was like super kid friendly, like family friendly. And at the same time, lots of after hours, like 18 plus stuff. So they split it up. That's
right.
Yeah, they split it up quite a bit. It's very weird. Very weird at night.
Yeah, there was like a burlesque show and stuff.
Yeah,
like,
yeah. They had what do they call it? Nerdlesque.
Sounds great.
Yeah, yeah. A lot of people lined up for that, for sure. There were definitely some pretty popular events, and a lot of people staying up and hanging out. I mean, the last night I was there, it was a long night, man. Long night. I was up till like almost 4 in the morning. And we were just like, we went down to the bar at one point and were there until it closed, and then went back up and realized they had a massive store of things. Like, I was trying some kind of this like $200 whiskey. Like, a bunch of people were in there. Doug Cockle was in there just sitting on the couch drinking whiskey, and we're all chatting and hanging out. And then, I realized it was 4 in the morning and I had a flight at like 7. So I ended up just, passing out in my hotel room, like getting a knock at the door, and then somebody coming into my room like, your driver's here. And I'm
Whoops.
like, yeah, no, it was not great. I almost missed my flight, and then almost missed my connecting flight, just coincidentally.
Well, that wouldn't have been your fault.
No, that was purely coincidental. It just happened to be like later. The flight that I was on, they were calling my name on the intercom, and I'm like running up to the gate.
Oh, no.
Oh yeah. I was the last person on the plane, like by just a minute before they closed the door. But I did it. I got there. It was a good night though, hanging out with some cool people. So yeah, a lot of mini painting talk for sure.
Yeah. If somebody out there can take that story and get the "oh no" monkey from the recent Planet of the Apes, you know, the meme where the monkeys go, "oh no," but it's Casey, and he almost gets stuck in Oklahoma because he's been drinking too much with the whiskey, with the Witcher whiskey guy. Yeah,
basically, yeah.
If you could put that into a sensible meme. I appreciate it. Any other good stories?
Yeah, so, okay. You helped judge the painting competition last year.
I did.
And this year, when I got there, they warned me that because of how it went last year, we've scheduled you from 6 p.m. to 1 a.m. to judge this competition.
Okay.
And they kind of put it on you.
That's fine.
Bit. Yeah, they did.
I understand.
They did. And, man, we got that thing knocked out by like 8:45.
Yeah, well, you didn't have me there, so yeah.
Yeah. That was pretty cool, though. There were some pretty awesome entries this year. Some, like, the good quality stuff. Surprisingly. I mean, not surprisingly, I guess that sounds mean. But, you know.
Well, no, like at small conventions, like the quality varies.
Yeah, and it's not miniatures focused. And I guess last year they were telling me a lot of people, like, you know, went to the paint and take and painted and took and entered.
And then Brent spent 15 minutes filling out a
Yes,
forum.
exactly. Like, the colors are nice, and they're like, there were 2 colors at this table. I slapped them on, entered this piece, and you had to sit there and like fill out a paper. No. It was different this
Have
time.
you considered painting the base? Like, yeah.
Dude, there was one model that didn't have a base at all. Yeah, which was very strange. Except that like the same person ended up painting something else that was like really good. And then came in for feedback later and was like, like, hey, what could I have done on this one? And it's like, well, there's no base. It's just, it was like the number sticker was on the bottom of it, sort of holding it up. And they're just like,
did it stand up on its own? I feel that there's some models that like are so well balanced and sturdy. That's like
this is like a 25 mil like dragon-born guy, D&D guy.
And he's just kind of resting on a shield, like.
Yeah, it was like his foot had a hero rock, but no. But I don't know. That's one of the things. A lot of BattleTech though. A lot of BattleTech.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess that's a big deal in Oklahoma.
Yeah, in the little gaming area, they had way more tables of BattleTech than they had of anything else. I remember that.
Yeah, they were telling me there was a lot last year. This year, they were running games of, demo games of Kill Team and something else, Warhammer. It might have been Blood Bowl. But they were doing a lot. And they had Warhammer 40K going the whole time. They had 7 or 8 different like small armies for people to try. So like they were going hard with the wargaming this year for sure.
Well, all right.
Yeah, but the painting competition was pretty cool. There was some neat stuff. Like there was a 2D artist that entered because they just wanted to paint something a little different, and they like painted this cat, and like looking at it, crazy, like really good. All of these things in like if you were a 2D artist, this would all make perfect sense, but translated to 3D. So some cool, interesting stuff that you wouldn't normally see at a convention. But we did a cut system this year too. We didn't have to fill out papers for every model because that just sounds exhausting. So we did cut rounds and then decided who were the top 3. And that was how we did it. And we got out of there quick. It was great.
Good for you.
Yeah.
Good for you. Oh, that makes me happy because we definitely went past midnight, and a hotel employee like kept trying to kick us out, and we're like, dude, I just need to grade like the octopus and like this elf lady, and like, dude, just give me some space because like the octopus is really good and the elf lady is really good. And like I don't need you nattering in my ear about how you don't have the room booked till 12:30 a.m.
That's so good.
Well, live and learn,
Yeah, I mean, I feel like as a good improvement, like year to year, it's like we just cut 7 or 8 hours out of this session. It's no big deal. Yeah.
Well, all right. Well, you know what I did this weekend? I got Warcrow Winds from the North in the mail.
It's real?
Yes. Yeah, so this is the new war game, skirmish game, something
I hope it's a skirmish game.
From the company that makes Infinity, Corvus Belli. And I don't know much about it yet, but there's definitely real stuff in here. This is real and has come to fruition and is a thing now, and maybe someday I'll know more about it, but that's all I got for now.
Man, I feel like we did an episode on this 3-4 years ago at this point.
Yeah, 3 years ago.
Because we were speculating on the name Warcrow, and then
Corvus Belli.
Yeah, exactly. And there was some, I don't even remember what it was. Some confusion.
All the commenters figured it out before we did.
Exactly. Yeah, like people making fun of us.
Thank you, dear listeners.
Yeah, but the fact that it's been that long. Man, and I've seen this booth at Adepticon every year since then, and like they're running demos of it, and now you have a box in your hand, and I'm like, what is going on? Because I haven't heard anything about this.
I'm pretty sure they have a dungeon crawler version and then a war game version.
Okay.
I think the dungeon crawler came out first, and this appears to be the war game version. So it's not as messed up as it is in your head, I think.
I mean, maybe, but I still haven't seen or heard anything about it. I didn't know there were two different versions, for example.
Well,
like, I feel like
this is a 2-player introductory battle pack.
Okay, well, that sounds like a skirmish game.
Make use of magic when necessary, but keep in mind there is a price to pay when dealing with the arcane arts. 2 players, 60 to 90 minutes per session, ages 14 and up. We got some orcs and some humies here.
Orcs, huh? Yeah.
Yeah, now I got your attention. Now you're not bad-mouthing it. Like,
I'm not bad-mouthing it. I'm wondering where it's been. Like,
use your cunning and the might of your military to overcome the daunting confrontations, fight for what you believe in, unravel the mysteries that surround you, defend your territory, and advance the destiny of your nation. There you go, Casey. There you go.
This episode should be called Advance the Destiny of Your Nation. No,
yeah,
no, that's too hard.
That's the first time I read that sentence.
I don't know. I mean, I remember hearing about it and seeing it like back in the day. At this point, I'm just going to call it that. And like being excited about it, and the fact that there's just been no notable news that's come out that has just come across my desk. It's like I'm looking pretty like often for things, and I have emails. I'm signed up for their mailing list.
I'm your newscaster here, buddy. I'm your newscaster, and I'm telling you that the orcs on the back of this box look pretty cool. And I'm undecided about the humans. They could go either way.
Doesn't matter. Humans.
Yeah, it don't matter.
It doesn't matter.
It don't matter.
No, it doesn't matter. I mean, look, I am excited for it because I think more skirmish games, especially from like higher profile companies that are, I don't know, they've got more behind them, right? Are just a good thing.
Yeah. Corvus Belli has a long track record. I think they have a pretty dang good track record. People love Infinity. Infinity's been around for a while.
Yeah.
We were joking around, but like Warcrow here could be pretty cool. So.
Could be. Now, I think the big thing about Infinity is, though, the complexity is quite high. And you just read that that's a 60 to 90 minute 2-player game. This is kind of throwing up some red flags for me.
The box contains 14 models.
60 to 90. Okay, yeah. I don't know. I mean, again, remain to be seen. We don't know. You have it.
We don't
You're not
know.
Gonna read
We don't
box,
know.
So.
And like we're waffling. We're just putting out BS right now. But that makes it more fun because you got us on record. Like
making fun
putting
of it,
out completely unfounded opinions, and you can make fun of them later.
Well, the fact that you have the rule book on hand right now, and I know you're not going to read it, so I can't get these questions answered. Like, you're a liar, sir. You're not my news person. You're not going to tell me what it is.
The box looks good. It contains models, and I didn't actually check on the rule book, but presume there was some paper in there, I think. Yeah. We got that going for us.
I mean, I'm looking forward to looking at it closer. I also got something in the mail today that I'm pretty sure I'm allowed to share, and if not, then oh well.
Do it anyway.
So I got this cool box in the mail. So youtube.com/paintbravely the podcast. It's the DRPA, the DERPA Duncan Rhodes Painting Academy travel kit. I haven't taken a huge look at it, but it's basically a modular 3D printed box that holds all the paints, and you can put like models in it and stuff. So I got to check that out a little bit more. But it seems interesting.
Is DERPA the correct pronunciation?
I don't.
DERPA.
I don't
Duncan
know.
Rhodes Painting Academy.
I mean, it sounds like Dharma initiative to me.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah, it's because I got a sticker once from them a while back that says I heart DERPA, and that just fits for me. I don't know, just my headcanon. DERPA makes sense.
Well, you heard it here first. Paint Brave the podcast.
Yeah.
That DERPA might be an acceptable way to refer to Duncan Rhodes Painting Academy.
I mean, it doesn't sound very nice.
They have more fans than us. If we shouldn't make fun of them.
I'm not making fun of them. Like,
neither am I.
No, that's just how it rolls off the tongue, you know. I mean,
yeah. In fact, it sounds cool.
Like DARPA, maybe. That's a little bit better. That's
DARPA,
more like Dharma than DERPA. Yeah. No, but they reached out and they're like, hey, you have all these paints and presumably no place to put them. I was like, you're right, I have no place to put them. So like, you can put them in this sweet box. And I said, okay. So I'm going to see how that goes.
They got you good. They got you
just
good.
Because I have it out. They fit models too. Like, these are all pewter models. That one wasn't attached. That was a model not on a base. That I forgot to
Casey,
take off.
Yes, your microphone picked that up.
Yeah, I'm sure it did too. No, I'm holding them upside down now. Like, I checked this earlier, and they've been on there the whole time. Please don't fall off. All right, moving on. Can't do that. Hey, look at this sweet thing. This Def Dread guy from Rogue Trader. That's cool. Yeah.
Don't send us products to review. You won't like the coverage.
The model that fell off was not on a base. I had it set aside because it didn't have a base and just happened to pick it up with the piece I picked up.
You did not advance that model's nation. I'll tell you that right now. Okay, we need a transition. We're bombing over here, Casey. We're dying.
Your model's nation. I'm just writing that down for later.
Oh no. All right. Okay. Ooh, I did one good productive thing today. We're recording this in June of 2024, and today I booked a hotel for Adepticon 2025. Like they always make you book your hotels way early for Adepticon, but this first year where they're moving to Milwaukee, I don't know, something changed and it's like 2 months earlier than normal.
Yeah.
So
like even longer,
it is 271 days until Adepticon 2025.
Yeah.
And well, Casey and I got our hotel room. We got 2 queen beds. I was so fast. I was so fast. Like, I had all my information out. My autofill is good. Like basically knows what it's doing, and I trust it. I trust it.
You're gonna have to at a certain point.
There's like there's a little countdown on the website. Countdown hits 0. Bam, refresh. A hyperlink shows up. Bam, click it. I get to the cheapest hotel. Not only is it the cheapest hotel, it's the one hotel that has a skywalk to the convention center and free breakfast.
It's connected.
That's the one I got for us, Casey.
That's perfect.
Do you know how important having a free actual meal is at a convention?
I mean, in terms of all the other times we've been to a convention where we just haven't eaten food, yeah, I feel like this is probably one of the most important things that's happened.
Normally when we go to a convention together, we have Chex Mix for breakfast 5 days in a row.
Yeah.
And a body needs more.
Yeah.
A body needs rehydrated scrambled eggs. Like,
yeah, Snickers bar doesn't cut it. Like,
no.
That just is not good enough. And for dinner, we can't just eat cashews. That does not do good things to the body.
By day 3, like I hold up my hand and it's like shaking.
We're just waiting for the chicken fingers to land so we can get the cheapest thing.
That was really fun. I don't think we ever told that story.
Probably not.
Tell the chicken finger story.
I don't know which one you're talking about. I feel like we've bought chicken fingers multiple times. With the line?
The line.
We may have said something about, I don't know. Last year at Adepticon, we finally decided it was time. Like, day 3, we are hungry. We're roaming the wasteland.
We need to eat something other than cashews and Chex Mix.
Basically.
That's where we're at. We are at the limit of what those foodstuffs can do for our bodies.
Like, beer foods only go so far, right? So we finally decide to stand in line, and the lines aren't huge, but this was a full convention. So we're waiting in line. We get up to front. There's no more chicken tenders. And so nobody really knows what to do. The line's not moving. People want other things. So we break off into a new chicken tenders line, and like us and a boatload of people are in a second line, confusing the crap out of everyone. Yeah. And we have to wait for this poor man to come. The other
line is getting the available items, which are weird little pizzas and French fries. And me and Casey are like, no, that's the cashews is better than that in terms of like keeping you going.
Yeah.
But I mean, this is an actual hot tip of like chicken fingers is close enough to real food at a convention to basically keep you going.
I mean, for $6, right? You basically get like a small chicken breast. Yes, there is actual food in there. The pizzas are like these bloated, well, at least at the time, Chicago funky deep dish mini personal pizzas for like $10.
No.
They're not good. They're not going to sustain you for what you need. And I mean, we're only getting 4 or 5 hours of sleep a night. At Soonercon, they had this sign up when I walked in that was like, you need a 6, 2 and 1. And it was like where they had signs everywhere. And I thought it was weird. I've never seen this at a convention before.
6, 2 and 1?
Can you guess? This was a recommendation.
6 hours of sleep.
Yeah. Okay, you're on the right track.
2 water bottles.
Meals. Okay, but you're on the right track. What's the 1?
Is that water?
Sort of. There's showers. Showers per day.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if that's like a convention like thing. That's a general rule. I've never seen that sign before. I just thought it was interesting.
I'd never seen that before either, but it's telling you, like, instructions: get 6 hours of sleep,
yes,
eat 2 meals a day, and for the love of God, please take a shower.
Yeah, basically, yeah. That's what it said. That was the signage walking into the convention. I mean,
that person deserves a raise. The person who made those signs is probably a volunteer, but
probably,
they need to be
I think
paid.
So. Yeah. I mean, and to be fair, like, Soonercon was not a weird, like, it didn't smell funny. It was totally normal.
Yeah, that was my experience.
Yeah. So, I mean, either they're working or people are just being normal already. I don't know. Anyways, chicken tenders. Not bad.
Not bad. But yeah, that was pretty funny that there was a massive line at lunchtime for like the hotel concessions kind of hot food, and only one of the items could sustain a person, and that ran out. And then there was just like a wall of people waiting for them to come out with more chicken tenders. And they come out, we got more cheese pizzas. And like, no.
Yeah. Pretty much, yeah.
All right. Well, yeah, I mean, it's going to sound stupid to our listeners, but a hotel with a complimentary continental breakfast is going to be a life, because that is one meal. That is one of the 2 meals.
Yeah, exactly.
And then you fill that in with a couple of half meals of Chex Mix and cashews, you know?
We'll be fine. We'll be fine.
If you're starting the day out with rehydrated eggs and a cup of coffee, like you're all right. You're all right.
Yeah, you're starting off strong. Like you're gonna last.
Starting off strong. Yeah.
Now, I mean, we've never been to this hotel before either, so it could be one of those like it starts at 6 and ends at 6:30. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and it's possible that they don't have eggs and it's just like a tray of bagels, which is not going to help. But,
well, I was just at this hotel down in San Diego, and they had like a make-it-yourself waffle bar. Like you take the batter and you pour it on the thing, and you like flip it, and it had this whole thing, and it would make you these big giant waffles. So I mean, it could be something like that. I don't know.
Not gonna. You can't sustain on waffles alone.
No,
not for 5 days.
Eggs are better. No, eggs are better.
Eggs are better. But those little waffle makers are fun though. That's a novelty. Like, well, that's worth whipping the camera out and
flipping
some
a good
B-roll.
waffle. Yeah. Gotta get that convention B-roll. Oh yeah.
Well, all right. I think we got to address the elephant in the room here. Why is my desk filled with all this crap?
I can't see your desk.
Oh, okay.
I had no idea.
My desk. Okay, you didn't know?
No.
Oh, this whole time you didn't know?
Dude, I could see your head like from here up. That's all I got. I can't see your desk.
My desk is covered in weird Warhammer models right now.
Okay.
So one of my favorite podcasts is Legends of the Painty Men, and from time to time they talk about the possibility of, you know, filling out a full D&D party with Warhammer Minis. Mm-hmm. And like, okay, what would you take for this, or what would you take for that? And, you know, they talk through it like, yeah, fighter'd be pretty easy, like paladin is just anything for the Stormcast Eternals.
That makes sense.
I got it into my head like, yeah, there are 12 classes in the D&D Player's Handbook, plus Artificer is kind of an accepted 13th class, so I've got 13 post-it notes here on my table that go all the way from Artificer all the way down to Wizard. Mm-hmm. And so I went through just a massive amount of my collection of Warhammer models and just pulling out and sorting like, this could be a ranger, ooh, this could be a druid, this could be a monk. And it just, you know, try to get at this question of like, can you really get Warhammer Minis for all 13 of the classes in Dungeons and Dragons? And from looking at my table, yeah, it's actually really easy. It's
like, really easier than you thought it was going to be. Yeah.
And these have been sitting on my desk like all week because I can't make up my mind of like what the best choice is, because there are enough good options that makes it tricky.
I mean, I feel like some of them are kind of a given.
Some of them are like too good. Like I've got a cleric here from Silver Tower, Warhammer Quest Silver Tower.
Yeah.
And it's a man holding a book open and holding a giant hammer above his head. And strapped to his belt is a smaller hammer and like some tchotchkes. And some of these are just like, this is the most cleric miniature I've ever seen. And it's cheating. It's not sportsmanlike.
Yeah.
It defeats the purpose. And I have another one, like an older, I think this is also a Warhammer Quest model, but like a pewter, like 2000 Warhammer Quest model.
Yeah.
And it's a man wearing robes, holding a book, and holding a giant hammer above his head. It's like, this is a cleric. This is not...
Yep.
This is bad content. This is...
Like, this video is not going to be any fun because you'll be like, well, the answer
and for
is
the cleric,
yes.
I used the cleric. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Well, like the human, like, Cities of Sigmar wizard is like a man in a pointy hat with like a stick and a ball. That
sure,
like a flaming. So he just looks like Gandalf. It is what it is.
Yeah, I have possibly the one you're talking about. Or I have a metal Warhammer Gandalf with just a little bit of Radagast mixed in there.
It's not like, quite, because that's pre getting the LOTR license and making it right.
Yeah, and I'm looking at it, I'm like, okay, you know, I think if we're gonna get real into the weeds here, if we read the description of a wizard in the Player's Handbook, the longsword, not cool. So you can't have a longsword like this.
He's got like a staff or a wand or something, right?
I mean, he does have a staff, but
he's got a staff.
You know, maybe the longsword, it's just like that's a MacGuffin, or you know, he's transporting that. That's a quest item.
Maybe.
Yeah, so you could kind of argue about some of the details here, but that cursed city, remember the wood elf who's like standing on a hero rock and pulling the bow back?
That's a good one. Good ranger.
That's the rangeriest elf ranger I ever did ranger. It's just like,
that's true.
Okay, like what's the point? What are we even doing here? Like, it just
I mean, so you got
the
three.
Square block goes in the square hole.
Yeah,
like this is too easy.
Like, I mean, I'm not sure. I guess it'll start getting more difficult, but even then, like, I really think you'll find it.
So I think monk and druid might be the hardest, but even then, it's not too hard. And surprisingly, like Blood Bowl actually does a really good job of filling those in. They have
like knuckle dusters on a lot of those models.
Yeah, and there are for monk especially, there's a lot of just linemen basically.
Yeah,
they're just guys and gals holding up their fisticuffs. And
well, then I guess the question is it Warhammer specific, or are you actually gonna go into Blood Bowl?
Well, Blood Bowl is Warhammer.
I mean, it is.
I mean, you can split the hairs, and you can, since this is all just a stupid YouTube challenge sort of concept, you can make the rules however harder.
It's true.
And there was a point where I'm like, okay, maybe I can just do it like all with like old hammer or all with, all pewter models. But even then, it's not too hard. It's not too hard.
Well, weirdly, I think with any kind of metal model, you're already going to be more in line with the goal, because the aesthetic was definitely more towards that back then than it is now. Yeah.
And there is, obviously some scale creep, especially with like the Stormcast models. And so a lot of the Stormcast models would make very good paladins, very good clerics.
Yeah.
Except they're just 5% too tall. And so it's like, all right.
Yeah,
maybe save that one for later.
Mm-hmm. I don't know about those new Cities of Sigmar ones though.
I don't have any of those.
I don't either.
And that was the thing. Like I was planning this out. Like, okay, like I can allow myself to buy like one or two models or units or whatever to complete this challenge of just some stuff I don't have.
Yeah.
Completely unnecessary.
Yeah.
The only one I even thought about was there's a relatively new team in Blood Bowl that's gnomes.
Oh,
and
yeah, okay.
Gnomes is one of the playable races in Dungeons and Dragons, but as far as I know, please type in the comments below if I'm wrong, but I think the only gnomes in Warhammer right now are the Blood Bowl team. I don't know.
I mean, you've got I swear you can still use the like halfling snipers.
Those are halflings are a playable race in Dungeons and Dragons.
So I guess not gnomes specifically.
So it's just that's a 1-to-1 halfling. Like there's your halfling. Now I have a pile of snotlings. Like deep in my eBay phase, I acquired some snotlings.
Yeah, got yourself a handful of pump wagons, did you?
Oh, I did.
Yeah.
I did. And I also got the kind that are just meant to be on the basis alone, is like a little horde unit.
Yeah, I've got a few of those. Yeah.
But one of the sculpts of the snotling does have like kind of a cross between a wizard's hat and a gnome hat. Like there's a snotling basically with like a pointy gnome cap.
Okay.
And
you could pass it. Paint the skin just right.
Or it could also just be like a sorcerer where something went kind of wrong, and like he started as a gnome,
turned himself into something. Yeah.
And I actually think that might be more fun. Is like for each of the picks, pick one that's just a little bit off, or is just like whatever sets him apart from the absolute standard stereotype of that class is something that makes him like a funny, unique character. But
and I suppose if you're doing it to pick a model that you're going to use in an actual game, having it be that just a smidgen off, right, is like, well, here's the easy backstory, right? It's going to make your model more specific to
Exactly.
you. Yeah.
Like that's the fun thing to talk about. Okay, so I've got I think they're called zealots. So there was a little squad or a unit type in Mordheim called zealots, and they would all make excellent characters in D&D, but they're basically peasants wearing rags with like some boards strapped to them.
Yeah.
And I have one here who has a book tied to his waist. He is holding a mace above his head, and in his other hand he's just holding a fish. And like this is a pretty strong choice for cleric, honestly.
Yeah, I mean the fish. Gotta go with the fish.
Because he's looking all crazy. He's got his book and his mace, so like there's your cleric coded.
Yeah.
But he's also just holding a fish, so you've got all the teach a man to fish. You got fish's brain food or something. You got fish oil, holy fish oil. I don't know.
Your omega-3 fatty acids.
Yeah. Omega cleric.
Yeah. Just slapping people with fish, yeah.
So, I don't know. That's one of the things that's been keeping me up at night.
Yeah, yeah.
It seemed like a fun little challenge. It's just like, oh yeah, let's pick a Warhammer mini for each of the 13 classes of D&D, and then it's too easy. And I have too many options, and I'm paralyzed.
Yeah.
Too much of a good thing.
Decision paralysis over how to make this the best it can be. I mean, look, like picking the cleric with the fish. Like if you just stick to that one decision, and then you base all your other decisions off that decision, then yes, the gnome that is now a snotling kind of. That makes perfect sense because he's done something to himself. Right. Yes.
And that's kind of the direction I'm thinking about. We'll see if this little project ever gets done, but it's been a fun exercise, and like I said, I listened to Legends of the Painty Men, and they've talked about this before, and yeah, if you're listening, guys, it's easy. It's way too easy.
I mean, isn't it just a setup to argue? Isn't that kind of the idea?
Yeah, and it is a great conversation starter, and it is fun to think about character types and who this person would be, and why is this person a paladin instead of a cleric or whatever. But yeah. So anyway, I've been keeping myself busy. Don't you worry.
Yeah, no, I can tell. You're digging through like boxes of 25-year-old models, and you're like, nope, that's not a cleric. Nope. Just going through each one.
I'm like holding up from the Sisters of Battle faction. I've got a pewter.
Oh, dude, those are so good.
Penitent. What are they called?
Yeah, no, that's right. That feels right. Like Penitent Sister. It's the cool one with like the double-handed chainsword, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Whatever they're called, the sisters with the double-handed chainsword, exactly. And I mean, that's kind of an artificer. Like there's not a ton of futuristic stuff on there except like a ridiculous steampunky weapon. Yeah. And so artificer is one of the ones that there are some interesting choices, but again, if you just go to the Cursed City box, there's like a dwarf who's just covered in steampunk crap who holding a harpoon gun. And it's just like, well, obviously that's an artificer. That's a dwarf artificer. But
most of that army looks like that too. Like there's a dude who has a legitimately, it's a metal top hat built into his armor. He's just wearing a metal top hat. So yeah, there you go. I've painted a couple of those. Brock Grungson, I think is his name.
It might be. I believe that.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds right in my head. That's what it is in my head. I don't know. Yeah. So I started watching Picard.
Started?
Yeah, started. Well, no, I'm on the third season.
Okay.
Third season. And it's pretty good so
You
far.
skipped the first two?
No, I watched them.
Okay.
Yeah. But, you know, last season or whatever they say, so should probably finish it out.
It's better than the other two.
That's good.
Better than the other two, you know? Something to look forward to.
Yeah. I don't know. I've just been thinking about Star Trek a lot lately, so.
Yep.
Anyways. Thank you again for joining us on another episode of Paint Bravely. If you enjoyed this podcast, please help us out by leaving us a review on iTunes, subscribing to the YouTube channel, and sharing this message with your hobby friends. And as always, we appreciate each and every one of you, and we thank you for we will talk to you
next time.
I got it.